this is Allison. Welcome back to our studio. Today I'm going to be doing an illustration of an African elephant based on reference from when we went to South Africa, Rip and I, and observed a big bull for like an hour and a half. It was amazing. And so I'm using the photography that we did from that trip and doing some illustration based off of that. So you can watch me as I start and finish this drawing. So African elephants and Asian elephants are actually pretty different from each other. It's kind of amazing. Like, you just think elephant, and you don't necessarily think, all of these major anatomical differences necessarily, but they totally are super different. Like, for example, I'm drawing the back right now, and with African elephants, they really kind of have this hump and sway back kind of thing that Asian elephants definitely don't have. They have more of like a hunched over look. They're not hunched over, but they kind of have a rounded back, I guess, is more of what I was looking for a descriptor. And Asian elephants just have this real sweet demeanor too that comes along with their features. In my opinion, African elephants are just kind of rugged, and you see them on the savannah, and they're a lot bigger for one too than Asian elephants, but they're all really incredible animals, incredible species. And African elephants also, you probably already know this, but they're kind of known for the big ears that are sort of actually shaped like the continent, really, of Africa. They've got the swoop to them, real pretty shape, and you see them and they're all kind of tattered on the edges, and so I'm adding sort of a little bit of a characteristic of that in this guy's ears. They are all just wrinkles, so many wrinkles. They've got, trying to pull up my reference over here with my other hand, you can't see. But they've got so many different patterns to their skin that it's really interesting to see them up close, and get to touch and feel their skin. It's almost kind of spongy, actually. That's what I would describe it as. And their ears have anatomy just like ours do. They've got shapes and contours in here. I'm going to go back to the other side again, just so I can kind of get a little bit of my proportions lined out here. I like to identify where the feet are, so I know where the rest of the body is going to be. Yeah, it was fun when we were in South Africa. We saw this bull, and he was grazing. And elephants, they just have to eat and eat, and they're so big that they have to, I forget exactly the amount of calories that they need per day, but it's like astronomical. And when you think of their resources, that they just eat plants, really, and when you equate that to the amount of plant material that they need to find and digest every day. They just spend their days eating pretty much. And so that's really important activity for their survival, is finding food all the time. And so this particular bullet was actually kind of funny. It was right before the rainy season that we were there, and so everything was still dried out and just brittle and twiggy. And I mean, the South African bush is just really it's sparse, kind of, which also it's incredible that animals can disappear so easily into it, being that it's so like just everything just looks dead before the rainy season. But this bull, it was so funny. He was eating this basically thistles, and you could just tell like how not amused he was. He just, I mean, literally eating thorns. But he also, you know, you could kind of tell, you get a sense of their personalities after a while. That, you know, he was hanging out with us just like we were hanging out with him. They have really the most interesting feet and joints. They're just different, so different from other animals in their anatomy. And as artists, we notice all of that kind of stuff. But the first time we were looking at elephants' feet and toes and everything, we're like, what do they got going on in there? They have an extra joint or something? We had to really study it to really understand. Okay, so I've kind of mapped out most of the body now, and I'll go back over and, you know, put in more detail, but give them a trunk now. Their mouths are pretty cool. Like,
it's going up.
Their mouths are kind of neat. Like they're smaller. Like their lower lip right here is like kind of smaller than what you'd think it would be, and it comes to this point down under there. It's kind of funny, and it's hidden most of the time, so you don't really see it. But seeing them up close and getting to touch and feel, it's really it was interesting. Just their like lower lip anatomy was kind of funny in there. And then they've got this flap of skin that goes over the tusk, and females and babies have that smaller, but it kind of comes down around the tusk too. But the tusk starts way up in here and like comes down, so you can kind of see like how it interacts with that skin fold right there. Now I'm gonna continue the trunk and trunk up. It's a universal elephant sign for good luck is when elephants raise their trunks. More in Asian cultures, but that's okay. He can have his trunk up here too. South African elephant. Baby elephants are really a lot different from adults, and they're way super fuzzy, and their fur, and it's not really fur, it's more like coarse hair. It's interesting because it covers a lot of their body, and I mean, it's like you think of horse hair as being tough and coarse. I mean, this is their hairs are like guitar strings almost. But as they get older, they start to kind of lose a lot of their, not a lot of their body hair, but most, you know, it just kind of redistributes. And they still have it, but they're just not as like fuzzy as babies. So I'm going to finish out kind of the contour lines of the feet. Here they have toenails, just like we do. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to start doing some of the skin texture. And so they have skin patterns that are pretty interesting. I mean, they, like anything, it kind of follows the, like I was saying about contours and shapes of the body. Behind their leg right there, elbow actually. And you kind of notice after a while, like, how the skin pulls in different directions, just how it lays and how it's on there. It's really interesting. Like, it doesn't really do what you would necessarily guess that it would do. Oftentimes it kind of, like, one thing I noticed was that the skin on the trunk kind of pulls in opposite directions. And this is artist kind of nerd talk, you know. But I was watching when we were in Thailand the trunk and like how the skin just sort of like created these striations right here, and I remember thinking, oh, I wouldn't have like necessarily thought that it would do that. So elephant trunks are different from African to Asian. And so Asian elephants, they don't have this little like finger down at the bottom, and African elephants do. They sort of have like two fingers, one at the top and one at the bottom. So I'm going to draw that. And they've got all of these little lines on their trunks. Not little, big. Their trunks are like crazy textured and detailed. And these skin folds that kind of come down. Excited to see who ends up with this drawing. We haven't really done a giveaway before, and so this is fun. It's really amazing how smart elephants are, and a lot of that I think is attributed to just their size, you know. They're just so big, and that, of course, they, along with their size, they have a larger brain, and I really believe that allows for more higher level thinking. It was incredible when, and I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again on here, that when we were in Thailand, we saw these two elephants who had really become like sisters to each other, and they'd been through some hard stuff, you know, and had really found each other later on in life, and they had a lot of traumatic experiences with cars, and they were standing next to each other, and when a car would drive by, they would get scared, you know, and kind of make these chirping noises, but what struck us was how one of them, when it would sense that the other would be afraid, would reach its trunk out and would just start consoling her friend. And we witnessed this. I mean, we saw it, you know, and really, like, it was so obvious that elephants feel empathy for each other. I think that they have the capacity to feel empathy for us, you know, other species even, which is just something that I think a lot of people would assume is specific to humans, but it's really not. Elephants are, I think, more than capable, really, of feeling that kind of emotion too. Okay, I'm going to start doing the eye. Have these cool wrinkles and contours around the eye. It's just really fun to think about, you know, when in our travels we've gotten to know some really amazing animals, and really it's the eyes that we remember the most, and their personalities and the subtle differences between each individual animal. And so I'm kind of thinking about that actually as I'm doing this, about remembering back. Their eyes are really expressive. They have a lot of, their eyelashes are like crazy long too. They're kind of cute. So I'm going to start kind of working on the skin folds here. So this is elbow. And they've got quite a bit of like skin looseness, I guess, right here. I'll go in and do some shading later. And we have, if you look at your elbow, you kind of have these little like these little like lines that are horizontal on joints. And I think that's common actually to most animals, but when I draw anything with a joint on it, I kind of do these little lines. It's the back foot. Maybe shade that now, and add a little bit of skin folds down here. This is his toenail. There. Go ahead and add a little bit of shading there. Okay. Their tails are super interesting. Line that out a little bit better. So they don't have like, it's not like, I don't know what animal would I would compare it to. It's not like a cow tail or something like that, where the whole end of the tail has hair on it. They only really have fur on the sides of the end here, and so I'll draw this out. So like, it's on the side right there, and then it'll be on the side right there too, kind of behind the leg, but it comes off and it just grows off the sides. It's the most interesting thing. I don't know why that is, but like. So I'm going to add some folds and some skin wrinkles back here. Let's see. Kind of like a crosshatch skin pattern right there. We have this really weird like saggy like skin thing behind their tails. Here's their back leg joint. You can kind of see a little bit of their toenail from this angle. If anybody else has had like experiences with elephants, or really, you know, just I guess animal experiences in general, you can tell us all about them in the comments. We'd love to hear them. I mean, we've traveled all over and seen some things, but you know, you don't have to travel too far to experience how amazing, you know, that connection is. You can experience that anywhere. I think that we just love to travel, and we're really impacted by elephants and their intelligence level. But you know, you see these videos of even pets, even, you know, animals that you wouldn't think, just really doing some extraordinary things, and really reminds us that we're not so different. And that's kind of a common recurring theme from what we've realized, is that really, like, when we look at ourselves, we look at the animal kingdom, we look at how everything affects everything, we're not different from each other. We might look different, but we're really not. And so we have to take care of each other. We need to take care of the our natural resources, habitat, and all of the things that, you know, we really have a huge impact on as humans that that animals really don't have control over. We impact their ability to migrate, their ability to roam and be free, you know, as we encroach on their habitat, and they are experiencing habitat loss in a lot of the world. I know Asian elephants, really it's getting pretty bad for the populations with habitat loss. And so just really stopping and realizing that, and thinking of maybe some things that we could do, just knowing about it is important. Add some shading here. When you do any kind of like back legs, you can pretty much expect to shade those differently from the front legs. Taking into consideration, you know, where the light's coming from, everything like that. It's pretty quick drawing, but I'm having fun with it. Like I said, I'm thinking back to this elephant and what he was doing, how we got to hang out with him. I'm drawing with a pen too, which I just realized that I don't have a whole lot of room for error. Maybe I should have thought about that before I started, but also, you know, drawing with a pen is kind of fun too. A lot of my drawings are with pencil, but pen drawings kind of give you a little bit more fluidity, I guess, if that makes sense. I just kind of like the way that the pen acts. Just going to add some shading here.
Hi, good day.
Hey Victor, we are actually on Instagram Live. Hey, say hi.
Hi.
I'm actually almost pretty close to being done with this drawing. Some lines here. I'm doing the last little details before I finish up here, and I might add a couple little things under his feet just because he's on the savannah. Add a little bit more things, something of interest in the ear here. Okay. So here's some brush. I won't draw the thorns that he was eating, just so you can kind of get a sense of that he's standing on something. There we go. There's an African elephant. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. And like I said, we're going to be doing a giveaway, and we'll be giving you more details about that later on. So check out our Instagram. Thanks, guys.